Okay folks, here is the pool climbing rock wall that I decided to build. I was gonna go with, we have a diving board, and I thought about getting a slide, but I don't know, after a week slides are boring and they last like 1 second when you go down. So I came up with this idea. I think I saw something online in a commercial pool that had this huge acrylic rock wall, and I said, well, why can't I build that? It'd be better for the kids because they can, you know, they work their upper body strength, it'll last a little longer, they can climb all the way to the top and jump in. I just thought it would be more fun for them, and believe me, they use this thing every single day, and over again. They'll spend hours on this thing, and they'll try races, they'll try jumps off, they'll try to throw the basketball into the basketball hoop. You know, they keep coming with creative ways to climb this and use this thing, and it turned out to be an awesome idea. And anyone that comes here for parties or visits, they're like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. So thought I'd share with everybody how it was built, and there'll be some pictures and videos a little bit later in the segment showing the kids using it. And let me zoom in and show you a little bit closer. So construction wise, and excuse the robot noise, he's cleaning the top. We're looking at 8 feet high, and it's 4 feet wide, and the angle here is at 10%. So no matter what happens when they're climbing, when they fall, they're going to fall into the water. And this has been up here for about a year now, and it holds very well. I don't know, maybe 185. I've had people heavier than me on it, so it definitely holds at least 200 pounds. And basically what it's just anchored into the winter cover holes that you can see there. So it's in 3 of the anchor holes. That holds it somewhat, but most of the weight is on the edge of the pool. So when the pressure comes down, the side of the coping here is holding most of the weight. So this thing just keeps it from pulling up. And they're just bolts that go right into the same bolts the cover does. So basically I just took this out, got bolts and washers that fit the same thread, and there's 1, 2, 3 of them that hold it down. Now this is all built out of cedar, and we have a 2x4 cedar here that's 8 feet. That is kind of dovetailed or rabbit jointed at an angle into this 4x4 piece of cedar, and I just did that with a chop saw and then hammered it out and cleaned it up a little bit with a chisel. It didn't have to be perfect. This isn't like furniture in the house here. And that had to be flush because this angle brace is on the outside. And not only did it have to be flush, but it also, if there's any pressure, it's going to put the pressure on that 2x4. So there's a 2x4 brace at an angle here. Not a specific angle, it was just an angle that I thought was good. I'm not even sure what angle it is. But, you know, we needed some bracing there, and that's turned out to be plenty. The other side is matching. And they're lag bolted in with washers. See that one? And then there's just cedar planks going across. They're 4 feet wide. I put this extra one up here up top just to add a little bit strength on these boards as pressure is in the middle, and that ties it all together to give it more strength. But I didn't want to give the whole thing too much weight. I don't leave it in here in the winter, so me and my son unlock this thing and unscrew it and take it out and put it under a tarp in the winter. The rocks or the climbing pegs around the front I just purchased online somewhere, and they're using the usual, I think these are called T-bolts or something, where there's a grip on the side. We do have to tighten them once in a while. They do get loose over time. So this 4x4 is bolted. You can't see the bolt underneath, but it's bolted to the 2x4. That's into the ground. And trust me, this thing holds. They climb all the way up, and even further than that, they put their waist all the way up top sometimes, and they jump far out. Now, my pool is 10, 11 feet deep, but at that point where the rock wall is, it's about, I'm going to say 7 feet, which is plenty. Here is the mirror image on the other side, showing the construction is the same, obviously, as the other side. And one other thing I want to point out is I took a router and rounded these edges off just to make sure that, you know, I didn't want people's heads or legs or fingers or whatever hitting a pointy edge, so I rounded them off. And trust me, no one's even come close to hitting this, because when they fall, literally they're going to be a foot in. So this has been really safe. There hasn't been any close calls. That bottom one is overlapped a little bit to cover up the bottom edges. As you can see, my pool on this side is a little bit rounded. It's not straight across, so that's why it looks like there's a gap there. It is straight. My pool just has a little bit of a rounded shape on this one side. Again, here's the rock holds. Looks like that green one spun a little bit. I need to tighten that one. But I have a 14, 11, and 9-year-old, and they can all get up to the top. It took about 2 weeks before they figured it out and got the upper body strength to do it, but they do it. So to sum up, this rock wall has turned out to be a great project that cost probably under 300 bucks. The rock wall holds are probably around 100. The cedar, I wanted to build it out of something nice and not something that's going to rot away and not look that great. So I splurged a little bit on the wood. Turned out great. I think this would be a great project for anyone to build. If you have a pool with some sort of a deep end. And it took me about, I don't know, a weekend to do it. It was a great project. Not a whole lot of time, and the kids play with this more than I think a slide would ever be. And that would be, like, you know, a slide costs like $2 grand, 1,500 bucks. So it just made sense. And I'm thinking about expanding this at some point. I might do some kind of rope swing across, not a swing, but like a cargo net that comes across, and they can climb up the wall and then net over. I'm still planning that out. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and please share the video. I'm sure other people would love to see this idea and build their own. Take care. We'll see you next time.